Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to Build and Breathe. My name is Nik and this is my co-host Cory. We are both entrepreneurs and professionals in two very different fields. On this podcast, we discuss hot fitness and health topics. More importantly, we take those things and try to make them a little bit more bite-sized, tangible, actionable things for our day-to-day lives. And in our second segment,
Touch Grass, we talk about our business wins and challenges, and our fitness wins and challenges that we're going to be tackling throughout the week. And then sometimes we layer in our own life wins and challenges because we're human too. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our first segment of Build and Breathe. This week, we are asking everyone, how, when, and why should you digitally detox? This can go in so many directions, Nik. I'm really interested to hear which direction you want to take it in, because I think for me, I lean towards like detoxing from like social media. And I feel like that's like actually a very common thing for people. Where do you go?
Where do I go with the question?
Yeah.
I think limiting stimulus in general is where I go, like in terms of like digital disconnect
Okay.
or detox. Like I think about the source, right? So why do you feel like you need to digitally disconnect? I think you need to know why it is that you're doing it. I think the reason you are doing it is because you probably feel overwhelmed, maybe, or at least for me, I feel overwhelmed or overly anxious. And I feel like my external signals are overwhelming my internal environment, where I can no longer control my internal environment, my like being, my moods are off, I can't think clearly. And so therefore I feel like I need to just shut out external sources. I think because we have so much screen time, the natural inclination is to say digital detox, right? Which is fair. I think that's very, very good and that's healthy. But I think like we can non-digitally detox too a little bit. Like if you're in the city, for example, like you're constant, let's say you're in a city like New York or Toronto or Chicago or something like that, or even LA, you're constantly running into people all the time. And you have no real control over like what kind of impact those run-ins are gonna cause for you, right? Like
Yeah.
I could be walking down the street and run into someone with mental illness that screams a profanity at me, I don't know, and like shouts out an insult, and that could affect my internal well-being. Maybe I was already on the brink of anxiety that day. Maybe I got, I don't know, some bad news at work or something, and then that could push you over the edge. So I think you have to understand that sometimes you just need to take time to yourself, and that can include a digital detox. It can also, I think, include an overall societal detox. So, going up into nature for a moment and just having some time to breathe
Yep.
is undervalued, in my opinion. Just like sitting by the side of moving water and just listening to moving water can be magical.
Yeah. For me, this realization kind of peaked during COVID. Where we were stuck inside a lot. You started working from home a lot, and so your screen time, I think, went up like dramatically.
Yeah.
And then I remember myself and a bunch of other people in the neighborhood and around where I lived, like people just go out just for walks, for just to get some air and just to be somewhat not inside. But that's still true for me now. Like, part of the huge reason why I love living where I live now in BC is that I'm surrounded by nature, so I can go out and I can actually like be in nature. Whereas like I used to live in downtown Toronto, busy city, like you were describing, right? And it's like, as much as I love people, I love being around people. Yeah, there are situations sometimes where you run into people and you can't control what they say or do to you, and that can affect your day, can affect your week, can affect your just overall mental health, right? So yeah, for me, I think honestly, I still lean towards like detoxing from social media. That's always where my head goes. I actually don't mind the screen time that I have because I work on the computer a lot, but I also talk to a lot of people, and that's totally fine for me. And I have the escape of kind of being out in nature when I need to. But for me, it's always social media, and it's sometimes I find that I actually need to really control the doom scrolling.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Me too. Me
It's
too.
a it's a bad habit. I don't know if it's a bad habit,
So
but it can be when it's like you do it for a long time because I do find that I love to doom scroll and just watch reels, TikToks, whatever it might be,
But
right?
I think
So
like we need to understand, we need to recognize and understand that every app that we use is designed to keep us on it by
100%.
professionals. It is honed in, it is studied to keep us on it, right? So like we almost need to be self-aware that whenever we open up an application, to
Yeah.
understand that we are opening up these like tentacles that are like pulling us in, right? And
Yeah.
we have to come in with like the intention to not spend a lot of time on there. Like to get in there to do what it is that we want to do, whether it's like to see updates from the world or our internal network and then get the hell out, right? Like it's almost
Yeah.
like you have to have a planned checkout.
Do you ever use the? I know people use like the brick and other forms of basically shutting down your phone or even shutting down apps after a certain amount of usage. Like iPhones have that capability. It's like you can only use apps for a certain period of time, and then it
Mm.
locks it. Have you ever tried any of those?
I've never tried it. No, have you?
I haven't, but like I have seen people using it and say that it's good, but for me, I just like I don't know. I don't know if I would set appropriate times. I would be like, yeah, I don't know, 3 hours on Instagram sounds about right to me.
Yeah.
When that might is actually quite a bit, right? So yeah, I don't know. I have considered trying it, but it's also for me kind of tough sometimes when like for example, so like LinkedIn is social media as
Totally.
well too, more
I was gonna
professional,
say
but
when it bleeds into work, it's a
that's
bit
ex-
tough.
that's exactly it. And sometimes
Yeah.
like my DMs as well can also lead that way, like Instagram. So it's like it's tough where I almost like can't shut off these channels because sometimes these channels bleed into the work that I do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's actually been another thing. I don't know if it's another topic that we can expand to in a future podcast, but like the idea of like building a personal brand has been really big in the last little bit for a lot of people, and that itself has like ties you to a lot of these applications that you almost can't disconnect from because
Hmm.
now you're trying to build your own brand on all of these places.
I can talk
Yeah,
about the rise and fall of that. Like I've been
sure.
really off social for a while as a personal brand. Like I'm super hyper selective like with what I post at this point,
Yeah,
but that's because I was hyperactive earlier on in social media. I don't think I was a pioneer or anything like that, but I had that experience where but like for me social was only work. Socials, like social media was only work for the longest
yeah,
time. And it kind of got to a point where people in my personal life would question my actions on social media. Like I wouldn't post, I don't know, a group photo of my friends or something, or like I would
hmm.
be selective with when I would post a picture of my girlfriend, for example. Not that I wouldn't ever, but like I wouldn't always. I remember one in particular hated the fact that I would post her only on stories, which disappears after 24 hours and never on the grid. In her mind, it was not a permanent fixture, it wasn't a commitment. Which is
Yeah,
true, but it's because the permanent grid was only for like a gut check of like whoever stumbles on my profile, this is what you need to see, right? So
for sure.
it's such a weird, it's a weird boundary. We're going off the reservation here, but
Yeah,
that's a fun little topic. I would say going reeling us back into like the whole detox portion of it. I think like the absolute cutoff is important. I think what's even more important is to be conscious of your digital diet. Meaning,
what do you mean by that?
I see more and more people stuck in their silos, worse and worse. And it's again because of the nature of the design of the app, right? The app is going to feed you what it thinks that you will consume so that you continue to consume it so that you continue to stay on it. And it can lead you into this downward spiral of the same thought process, right? Which if
Yeah,
you were studying a topic, perhaps that could be a thing, but if you're studying, if you're, or rather, if you're being served, say, a political viewpoint that's a death sentence to your mindset because you're only seeing one perspective. And even worse, then you're going to start getting fed like the fear porn and stuff. So it's just
Yeah.
going to continue to perpetuate this emotional response that it thinks you want. And maybe you do want it, but you have to be conscious of the fact of like shutting it off, right? So that's a huge thing, I think, for me. Like, I actually have two YouTube accounts and I flip flop between them, and my home pages look so madly different on my feed. So if I
Just to have
know
different
that,
algorithms.
yeah, completely different algorithms. Like, to YouTube, those are two completely different individuals,
Right.
literally, with different preferences and political viewpoints and all of this and that. And I find whenever I'm like just feeling like I'm stuck in a rut now, I'll flip it. I'll literally flip the accounts and get fed something completely different, and it knocks me out.
Wow.
It's a
Damn.
it's a very it's a very cool experiment that I've been running, but
Yeah.
know that what you see and what you continuously see is not the full picture. Nobody has an algorithm that shows you the full picture. That's
Correct.
not how the algorithm works.
No, it leans into like it's a
Whatever,
preferential, right? Yeah.
yes, whatever it thinks that you want to hear, not what you should hear,
Yeah.
what it thinks you want to hear.
Now, going a step further on like the digital detox, what's your go-to for like when I'll call like fully disconnecting from like
Hike,
computers, phones, stuff like that?
hike, hike.
Yeah.
I leave my phone at home and I go for a walk. Drives my girlfriend insane. I'll
What if you
disappear.
get lost? What if you get
Yeah.
attacked?
I'll disappear off the face of the earth, off the
Yeah.
digital world for about 3 hours, and it's not. Sometimes I get back to the stimulus thing. Do you ever notice how often? Maybe you don't, but do you ever notice how often we put our headphones in, our earphones in, when we're walking?
Oh
Like,
my gosh, all the time. Yeah.
right, but have you ever like just walked the street without earbuds and earphones? It's a whole different world, man. Like,
I do this a lot in hikes actually, but I
mhm.
go a step further as well too, where it's like I don't generally like to. Actually, you know what? I don't do it too often. I only do it when I'm running. But usually when I go like for might take my dog for a walk or something like that, I don't wear them. But if I go for a hike, one thing I like to do as well too, and it's so underrated and it sounds so stupid sometimes, but just looking up,
Yeah,
yeah, like when you look up and you're like, wow, I don't look up that often,
yeah.
like to the sky and just like see things because we're always like here and down. And so like that whenever I'm disconnecting, it's like I always tend to sometimes just like look up and being like, holy crap, there's a whole other world up there.
There was something that I think was I told or I read, but it was sort of theological in the way that it was presented, but it was very
Okay.
interesting. Structurally, humans are one of the few animals in the entire animal kingdom that are designed to look up and not have it be a complete strain on their biology.
Hmm.
And there's two aspects of it. One is like it could be the anxious aspect of like predators above, right? There could be that aspect. But the
Yeah.
theological aspect was like to see the broader scope of the world, right? Not just to see what's on your level or below you, but to be able to take in the 360 scope. And then the
Yeah.
theological aspect was like to look up to God and, the universe and the
Right.
Almighty and all that stuff. But it was an interesting perspective, nevertheless. And I think in a world where we are quite literally like prone and looking down at the phone, right? It's very
Oh yeah.
important for us to remember that our neck goes that way too.
Sounds dumb, but it's true. So
Stupid
simple.
simple. I feel like your dad would be like, that no shit, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Awesome. Any final takeaways for people that want digital detox, disconnect, or whatever it might be?
How often, I guess, is what we should dig into, right? Do you have any thoughts on how often?
Yeah, for me, actually, how often? I think daily. Truthfully, I think
Mm,
daily you should be as simple as going for a walk without your phone, without your earbuds, something like that. I think daily because if you wait for it to pile up and you need like a 3-day camping trip with nothing, on you and just going to the wilderness just to feel like a strong disconnect, I think maybe is unnecessary in the world we live in. So I would just opt for like I think daily activities like going for a walk, going for a hike, go for a run, go to the gym even sometimes like raw dog it in the gym with no headphones.
I have
Something a
done
little
that
different.
actually a couple times recently.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel a little bit scared of myself sometimes, but I have done it.
Yeah. It's definitely weirder. But yeah, I think daily is my answer for that.
Hmm.
How about you?
I actually have done something even more simple as of late, and it's changed my mood in the morning dramatically. So I have several really, really early morning wake ups during the week, often just before the sun comes up. And I have found 5 to 7 minutes looking out of your window. I usually try to have a coffee, but sometimes I'll even be too lazy to make a coffee. But I will just like sit upright in my bed and stare out of my window.
Yep.
That's it. Just see the sky. See the sky and see the sun come up. There is something and do not interrupt it with your phone. Do not open up your phone and do that. This is not a multitasking thing. This is like just give yourself 5 minutes. I don't know, honestly, I actually don't know what biologically happens there, but there is absolutely a biological shift in mood that occurs.
Interesting.
Yeah, it just makes the wake up process much better and it really brightens your perspective for the morning.
I
Yeah.
like that. I'm gonna give that a shot because I do have a nice view out of my house now, and I have a balcony in my bedroom, and so just go
If
sit out
you have a
there. Yeah,
view, bonus points. But even if you don't, I would say just the view of the sky.
yeah,
Think about when you go camping and you look up at the sky and how good you feel looking at the stars.
yeah,
I think that's something fairly relatable that like almost everybody has done. Like looked up and be like, "Wow, I didn't realize how many stars there are up in the sky." Right?
yeah,
Sort of a similar emotion. You're not going to see stars at maybe you will depending on how early you wake up, but
yeah.
that feeling you can experience that every morning. Just put aside 5 to 7 minutes.
I like that. I like that recommendation. So the short answer is also daily. So that's
Yeah,
like a
yeah,
day.
but in
Yeah,
small bite size. It doesn't have to be an hour walk or
yeah.
anything like that.
I love it. Well, there you go. That's how you can digitally detox. How often and why you should. Take 5 minutes for yourself, and might be enough just to change your day.
All right, segment two. We are on to build and breathe. We doing our going in 3, 2, 1. Cory and I talk about our wins, our challenges for both business and fitness and personal life. I guess I'll just start off and go.
Go for it.
Fitness wise, I have started my cut as well. That's been fun.
Noise.
Macros are on target. We've shaved off a couple of pounds in the first week, which is nice.
Sweet.
Feeling pretty good, feeling pretty strong still. Surprisingly, I actually went higher in my bench press this week, and we'll just call that absolute fluke of nature.
There you go.
Challenges this week, I think a little bit of sleep. I haven't been getting the best quality of sleep.
Fair. Okay.
Yeah, and but the nutrition, I will say all of the like multivitamins and stuff have really done a job with like holding it up. So I don't feel too affected by it.
Good. Okay.
What about you, man?
Nice.
Fitness wise?
Yeah, fitness wise, so it's been a much better week. So I think big wins was that like my lifting and exercises were really good. I kind of kept my strength up because also in a cut right now. Nutrition was decently good from a total macros perspective, but I just need to kind of fix kind of my mixes up a bit.
Mm,
But the weight's going down, so we're heading in the right direction.
right.
So yeah, shaved a few pounds. We'll see if that was an anomaly as well too. But shaved a few pounds off and feeling pretty good. I actually think the micronutrients as well is actually supporting on my side, like having the my multivitamins, having my green powders, my fish oil. And then I've been pretty consistent on creatine as well too. So I imagine that's helping with some of my strength as well for my lifts. So yeah, I
Yeah.
think all those things are kind of helping with this cut.
Same with me, honestly. I forgot that I have the creatine too, but yeah, that I think that's all. It's fun to do a cut together. This is interesting. I don't think I've ever actually like paired up with someone for a cut.
To do
Not
a
that this
cut,
is even
yeah.
fun. It's just, I just
It
got to
just so
get ready.
happened.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, it's nice. Nice to it's not as miserable. So, which is great. Yeah. And then challenges for me for this coming week. Next week will be a very busy week. I have like a 2-day event on Monday, Tuesday, but here in Kelowna, so we're golden there. And then I'm traveling again to Florida on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Mm,
So, end of week travel. But yeah, I think the challenge will just be like sticking to my nutrition during that travel. The exercise portion, I'm not too concerned about because I'll probably do two of my exercises prior to travel and then one during. So to me, I'm not too concerned about that. But for me, it's more about keeping on my nutrition. But
yeah.
I changed something up. My last trip, I was in a hotel. This time, I'm in Airbnb. So my goal is to actually
Ah,
purchase
cook.
some food to cook
Nice.
versus eating out because I'm like I feel like I can control it better.
Dude, Trader
So
Joe's. Go to Trader Joe's. Find one.
100%. Yep.
Yeah, they have all of like the 2, 3 serving packets. Very, very good from a macro standpoint. Yeah, and so many things that you just throw on a stovetop or even a microwave for that matter, and
Exactly.
it's delicious. I think it's a good bet.
Yeah. So that was my fitness wins and challenges. And how about you? How about the business? Any business wins and challenges?
Business wise, still staying on top of the grind with auditions, which is good. A little bit of a challenge, actually, I forgot to mention, was a audition kind of ran me off course with one of my fitness days, so I'm playing
Oh,
catch up with one of my fitness days.
right.
I showed you my little sales video. So I created a little sales video of the software I've been coding with AI
Really
for a
good.
bit. And I have a meeting with a VC guy, a venture capitalist guy, and engineer later today to chat about it. The engineer has a tracker patent that he's worked on, and he's trying to get that into more of the athletics side of things, like NFL
Cool.
and stuff. But there's some synergy there, and we have connected in the past, and he just wants to connect and see where there are integrations, cross integrations. There's definitely possibilities for it,
Cool.
but just kind of an open forum thing, which is fun. It's always. But I was gonna say, I think I mentioned it in the last one, but like having a meeting to look forward to can be a good motivator to like push you to develop certain things. So in
Yep.
this case, it was like the sales materials. So kind of circled that around to my salesperson as well. She loved the material, so now we're kind of ready to push forward with our sales conversation now that we have the sales materials done.
Nice.
Yeah, challenges. I think just scheduling sales calls now. I think now I got to design the actual pipeline of incoming conversations. So,
Yep.
which is fun. We're down to the gritty now of like, okay, let's sell this thing, right? So, yeah,
That's awesome, man. Nice.
yeah. You,
Sweet. Yeah, on my end, business wins. I think nothing too big, honestly, in terms of business wins. I had like the really big close a couple weeks ago on my first
hmm
trip to Orlando. I guess a win is that we're going back there and we're actually presenting at their State of the Union,
nice.
and so it's going to be in front of 150 some people. We're gonna build like a Apple level like type demo, record it, pre-record it, all sort of stuff. Have a really fun intro, so that'll be good. So taking myself, my CTO, and then our senior developer down to go do that presentation and support their launch of that first internal product for the rest of the company. So yeah, so that's a pretty big win. Another kind of side win as well is that I'm in the final two candidates for a client success role.
Cool.
So yeah, basically it's like to help take off a lot of what I've been doing. Like half my job right now has been client success and expansion revenue, and so bringing someone in to come do that, which would be great. Open up a lot more time for me to do like, initial sales and new business development rather than like, current client expansion. So
Right.
yeah. So yeah, that's kind of the wins there.
How are you guys getting what's your funnel look like for your connections, like for your external sales and stuff? Like, what is that? Do you want to talk openly on that?
Mm. Yeah, I'm fine to talk openly about it because I've tried a bunch of different things.
Yeah,
So
I have.
probably not useful to anyone that actually has a sales team because I don't really require a sales team at this point.
Mm,
Reason being, the software agency industry, when people want it, they're near the end of their buying journey. And so all you need to be is like when they are searching you up or they need to know someone that knows you. And so for us, partnerships, referrals, events have kind of been the main three channels for sales. And yeah, it's been, I think, 80%, maybe more 90% of our actual clients have come from all one of those three. I've gone down the route of like cold outreach. I've explored the route of ads. Truthfully, right now, it's just a waste of capital. Like
yeah,
for us, that it just doesn't work. It's just like there are so many software agencies out there. There are so many like freelance developers out there, and
right.
so to try to get your name and brand out there through ads and cold outreach, you're just flooding an already flooded industry. And
Yeah,
so it's just like, unless you have a lot of capital to work with, it's not really useful. And so we've strayed away from that. And like I said, finding really solid partnerships, really solid referrals. And yeah, that's kind of the main thing that we've been focusing on. And events, getting in the right rooms with these people, right? So
yeah.
that's been that's been our success method, and we'll continue doing that essentially
It's
for go forward.
so interesting when you get into the conversation of like, yeah, you could run ads, but given the current setup of how things are and how many players there are on the field, is it even worth it? Like it's so true that sometimes the old-fashioned way
Yep.
sort of becomes the better way, the more successful way to do it,
Yeah, I
mechanically
think
feel.
yeah, my caveat to people like I think ads can still work. The
Yeah,
problem with
of
us
course.
is that we don't have a clear ideal client like persona, right? Like when I if someone asks me what it is, I'm like early stage founders and service based small businesses, super high level. I literally can't get more specific than that because we
Yeah,
work across multiple industries. They have multiple levels of revenue, multiple levels of employees. But if you have a SaaS, like a tech SaaS business or a very specific service or product, and you can figure out a very specific ICP and you can target your ads, then you'll find success. If you can't do that, you're wasting your money, right?
yeah, yeah. Which brings you to the next point, though. If you're a startup,
Yep.
there are very few startups, like really rare, where you can hone in exactly who you are selling to and exactly how good. Because the whole point of a startup is you're building something, and obviously you have an inclination of like this is who it's going to service to.
Yep.
But I have yet to meet anybody that has hit a complete home run with like the first prototype out of the gate where they're like, yeah,
Yeah.
this is my product and these are the people I'm selling to. And that's it. There was no evolution. It's usually a really messy trial basis of like, this is the product. No, but I just need this. Okay, well, maybe we can kind of offer that. And then you
Yep.
realize the scale doesn't work and you're like, all right, but maybe it's similar, but on a larger scale, whatever. I feel like
100%.
that adaptation needs to happen on a granular boots on the ground level.
Yeah.
I don't know how possible it is unless you have a ton of money to burn on a scaled version of ads, right?
No, you do the unscalable things until you figure out who specifically you're selling to, and then
And
you
then you
do the
scale.
scalable things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Unless
That.
you have money to burn, in which case,
Yeah,
have at
like
it, man.
if you're a startup that just got funded and you have millions of dollars to burn and you have a team that is has done this before and they have money to test with different ICPs and figure which one out. Cool, you can accelerate it, I guess. But most people, first 100 users is brute force.
Yeah.
Um,
Force is right.
yeah, yeah, it really is, right? So, which I think is totally fine. Do the unscalable thing and then figure out how to scale it afterwards. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
There was somebody that I listened to a while ago. I can't remember. maybe it was Alex Hermosi, maybe it was somebody else, but they were mentioning how like there's an initial investment of spend in an ad before you find out your answer. And that answer could be completely not what you want to hear, but it is nevertheless an answer. And his whole point in that conversation was like, you will have to spend that money or time to get that answer regardless.
Yeah.
And I hear that, but it's also not a practical way to do it if, again, you have no funding for the startup. If you do, I suppose there is definitely a benefit to rushing through those learnings quickly.
Yeah, I know he's definitely if it's Alex Ramones you're talking about, like he definitely has that mentality where it's like once you know, it's volume that will
Yeah.
win, right? But you need to figure out how you get your return on that ad spend first, and then you can ramp it up. Basically, the point was like if you do $1 a day, you're wasting your time and money. But if you really want to see like get really good test results, you need to spend like $500 a day, right?
Right.
Like that level of ad, right?
Right.
So,
I mean,
anyways, but yeah, but I still think first 100 users brute force. After that, you probably figured out who an ICP is. Then you go test. You probably made some revenue at that point. You have money
yeah,
to spend.
you can invest it. Yeah,
Better
you
way to
can.
go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree.
yeah.
I agree.
Cool. That was a fun tangent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
For anyone,
detox, everybody.
yeah. Hey, but I see. This is stuff I'm also passionate about. So I don't mind sharing it. And I love talking
Yeah,
about it.
yeah.
So
I
yeah,
I think the whole point of this podcast is to like give people a little bit of insight. Who knows?
yeah.
Like maybe this is just a digital library for years afterwards for people to like look into and be like, I wonder what these guys were thinking back in the day. Here it is, man. Yeah.
Here's the, yeah, yeah. Here it is. This is what we were thinking.
Yeah, here's the tomatoes that made up the sauce, you know?
Oh yeah. And
Yeah.
then I don't know if did I talk about business challenges? I don't know if I did. Just
No, you
hiring.
didn't.
No,
You
it's gonna
just
be hiring.
you
Yeah.
just claimed your wins. Actually, no, you did say
Just
you
claim
say
my
your
wins. That was
challenges
it. I
go
have
on
no
longer.
challenges. Nothing's
Yeah.
going wrong. Yeah. No, no, no. Yeah,
No,
I think
everything's just peachy for you.
yeah, for me my challenges week over week are pretty much the same. Just hiring and figuring out the talent pipeline,
Yeah.
like the same way we figure out a sales pipeline. Figuring out
Mm.
a talent pipeline is something I'm trying to figure out right now too.
That's a world I don't have any idea. That HR world, don't know anything about it. I have no
Dude,
idea where to start with recruitment.
yeah, man, it's like for us, it's we've been very lucky, and
Yeah.
it's been shooting from the hip.
Yeah.
And but if when I think about our business and really at the crux of it, what people are paying us for, it's for the level of expertise and the quality of our team that's delivering the stuff that they're getting.
Right.
And so I'm like, wow, that tells me that I need to work on our talent pipeline as well
Sure.
too.
Sure.
If
Of course.
you know, so anyways, so it's kind of a mix. And eventually, we'll probably need to hire someone that I can actually help with that talent pipeline.
Yeah. Yeah. To design it 100%.
For now, I'll figure that out, and that's it. Those are my wins and challenges.
Right on. All right. Let's
Cool.
close this baby out. Enjoy your week, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Build and Breathe. If you'd like to reach out to myself or Nick, our socials will be in the description below, but please like, subscribe, and share this with anyone you think would enjoy the episode as well too. Otherwise, we will see you next week in another episode of Build and Breathe.